Normally, I write and record an article, a video, about current events in the church once a week, on a Thursday afternoon, sometimes usually on a Friday morning, and it is published on a Friday afternoon. This makes it difficult for me when something has happened immediately and the video has already been released, but it also allows me to reflect more calmly on what has happened. That's exactly what happened to me with the opening of the Paris Olympic Games, with that horrible, gracious, and necessary provocative blasphemy, with so many nonsense and probably with several objectives, and not only to insult and humiliate Christians. I dedicated this comment last Friday. It was published on Friday afternoon, and among other things, I spoke of the Vatican's silence in the face of this sad and regrettable event. A silence, I said, that was hurting many Catholics that could not be explained. They did not understand the reason for that silence. After I made my recording, other things happened. For example, the contents of a letter signed by 3 cardinals, the first of them being Cardinal Burke, and 20-odd bishops at the time, which I'm sure they were more because it was an open letter asking the organizing committee of the Olympic Games not to limit itself to those lukewarm excuses they had presented, but truly apologize and make a public rectification. Those cardinals and bishops also offered a day of fasting and prayer. Last Sunday, in reparation to the Lord for this offense, I already said it on Friday that they were not the only ones. For example, Cardinal Miller, among many others, had spoken before them saying that those who had done it were sick people. Well, it was also known. It was known before, but it was already known through the general media that the Turkish President Erdogan had offered to the Pope to issue a joint statement of rejection because they too, the Muslims, were offended by the treatment given to Jesus that appears in the Quran as a prophet. The Muslim leader of Iran, Khamenei, and even the head of the Al-Azhar Mosque in Egypt, who is the leader of many millions, has also joined this, not in the request for a joint statement but in the rejection. Catholics, also Orthodox Muslims even, rejecting and condemning this stupid, absurd, and intolerable blasphemy. The Vatican, the highest representative of Catholics, was missing. Such statement, that writing from the Vatican condemning blasphemy, came on Saturday afternoon. It is worth reading the entire statement, a brief statement, a concise statement that goes directly to the matter. The Holy See, says the statement, I will read it in full. Saddened by some scenes of the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympic Games, cannot but join the voices that had been raised in recent days to deplore the offense caused to many Christians and believers of other religions. At a prestigious event, in which the entire world unites around common values, there should not be allusions that ridicule the religious convictions of many people. Freedom of expression, which is evidently not questioned, finds its limit in respect for others. Well, it is a brief statement. Surely there will be some who consider it a little poor, others consider it enough, and even some consider it too much. In fact, some of those who had been interviewed, for example, in the unofficial body of German Bishops' Conference, had been very critical of those who were angry, disgusted by what had happened, the blasphemy that occurred at the opening of the Olympic Games. The Vatican has spoken, rejects what happened, and speaks not only to the offense of Catholics, to Christians, but also to people of other religions, because Muslims had also felt upset and offended, given that Jesus for them is a prophet. He is not the prophet, he is not the Son of God, but he is a prophet who is respected. I want to thank the Holy See, the Pope, because obviously this statement, although it is from the Holy See of the Vatican, could not have been produced without the explicit approval of Pope Francis. I want to thank the Pope and the Holy See for speaking out. I trust that this will, if not suppress, at least to alleviate the suffering of so many Catholics who have seen their faith in Christ and in the real presence of the Lord in the Eucharist humiliated, mistreated, humiliated. I repeat what I have said. This evil, this terrible evil, has had a positive aspect. There has never been a global reaction of such caliber, many in their personal lives offering prayers to the Lord and acts of reparation. Others publicly. They have expressed their union with Christ in the rejection of this so-called woke ideology, this ideology of hate, because it is nothing else, which seeks to end the Christian presence in the world. We continue praying and we continue to ask the Lord, as He has taught us, also for those who insult us, for those who offend us. Until next week, God willing.